docks near the waterfront. They're remnants of the city's once bustling shipyard, but they really don't serve a purpose anymore. John Ramos has more on why time is of the essence in the situation.
The dry dock's days are numbered, bringing to an end the proud history of San Francisco's shipyard. But as massive as the structure is, there will be an equally massive price tag to get rid of it. At 900 feet long, Dry Dock 2 is a structure second only to the Salesforce Tower in size. Once the largest dry dock on the West Coast, it was big enough to float full-size cruise ships up and out of the water for repair. But it and its smaller companion, Eureka Dry Dock, have been shut down since 2017, and they're not coming back.
No, the expectation is that these dry docks are not going to be reused again.
The Port of San Francisco has looked for a buyer but got no takers. And then last year, port officials appeared at City Hall to say their rusting white elephant had become an emergency situation.
In November of 2025, San Francisco was hit with a significant storm, and dry dock number 2 began to take on water. And you can see in this image that the vessel was actually listing. So that's part of that taking on the water and beginning to sink. This is just some more imagery of just the deterioration of dry dock number 2, how it's taking on water and how the port has begun to run pumps into it.
Dry Dock 2 has since been patched up and stabilized, but it will never be operational again. So now the plan is to demolish it along with Eureka. But the cost to do that would leave anyone with a sinking feeling. $61.2 million. It's not the first time storms have caused trouble for the dry docks. In 2002, a storm sent Dry Dock 1 adrift, sending it floating out into the bay where it bumped up against Yerba Buena Island. Luckily, it didn't sink and could be hauled away and dismantled.
It's not good when something that big is moving uncontrolled across the bay. Yeah.
But the bigger concern for Dry Dock 2 is that it could sink, which would make a salvage operation infinitely more difficult and expensive.
So these are massive structures, and we certainly don't want them to go into the bottom of the bay.
The money to remove the docks will come from the port, not the city, and it's already been budgeted. The port is doing well financially these days, primarily because they're not really in the shipping business anymore. Their main concern these days is leasing real estate on the waterfront, and that business is booming. In fact, while the removal of the dry docks may be an historical loss, the port is actually excited about the opportunity to reimagine the old shipyard properties.
The waterfront really has changed dramatically, right? Even over the past 10 and 15 years. And so this area will certainly factor into that and the conversations about what that area might become.
The hope is that they can find a company to begin scrapping the old dry dock sometime in 2027, and they'll be crossing their fingers that another big storm doesn't come along to sink that plan.
When it was shut down nearly a decade ago in 2017, the San Francisco shipyard was more than 150 years old. It is one of the oldest continuously operating civilian shipyards in the country, building ships and bridges, mining equipment, and the weapons that were used in the developing of the West. And taking a live look outside.